Here's a little history of the iron furnace of Cumberland Gap. I managed to make it up home. This is home, Cumberland Gap. Beautiful place, right after an old snow. Here's Cumberland Mountain overlooking the gap. A lot of people knows about this place, and some of you don't that watch these videos. Well, it's not hard to find. It's right where 3 states come together: Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee. Beautiful place, too. This is what it looks like today. From some older pictures. Peaceful little community, but so much history here. This used to be a main hub across the country. Here's what it looks like back in the 20s. But we'll go back further. We'll go back to the 1890s. Beautiful old pictures of the Gap. Go back a little further. This is after the Civil War, the 1870s. This old iron furnace is said to have been running from the 1820s up to the 1880s. And here it is at the foot of Cumberland Mountain, a picture of it, an old picture. You can see it down here in the bottom right-hand corner. It was a foundry, big old furnace. If you still don't see it, right here it is. Way back. Here's another picture of it. Aerial view from the other mountain. The iron furnace. Big old foundry at one time. And here's what it looks like today. Nestled in the park at the foot of Cumberland Mountain. This is what she looks like. What's left of it. It's a 200-year-old structure right there. And the old creek that comes out of it goes by the Gap Creek. Comes out of the Gap Cave, what used to be called Cudjoe's Cave back in the day. It's a peaceful place. That water's cold as ice year-round. And here's a side view of the furnace, where I guess the ore melted out of it when they put it in there. It used to stand 30 feet high, but now it's only about 15 foot high. And here's what it looks like on the inside of this thing. Like I said, it was 30 feet high at one time, so it was a big old furnace. And here's the operation of it. It was called the Newley's Iron Furnace, and when it was in operation, and the creek turned the big old water wheel that run the bellows that pumped air into this furnace to make it super hot to melt this ore. And here's an old picture of it back in the day. Now they used to make 150-pound ingots, iron ingots, and they'd put it on wagon, and they'd sell some locally, but they would take it down to Powell River and put it on a barge, and it'd go down all the way to Chattanooga. That was a treacherous journey for sure. That Powell River twists and turns. A lot of accidents happened on that river. A lot of history. And here's some old pictures of them mining iron ore seam in Cumberland Mountain. These has to be back in the 1880s pictures. That's some brutal work. That's worse than coal mining. Look at the rock, just for iron ore. Here's another picture. Notice the old dinner bucket there on the cart. That's some brutal labor right there. But they done this all the way up to the 1880s, and I reckon they found iron ore in other parts of the country and it was cheaper to mine. So that operation went out. But what it took to run this furnace every day is amazing to me. It took 625 bushels of charcoal, which is equal to 16 and a half cords of wood a day, plus 6.5 tons of iron ore, plus 1,563 pounds of limestone, that's just under a ton, to make 3 tons of iron a day. And in 60 years of service, that was equal to cutting down 10 square miles of trees. Now that's some brutal labor right there, people. I mean brutal labor every day. But it was in operation from the 20s to the 1890s. 1880s, they'd say. Now the railroad come in 1897 after it shut down. That would have been handy for them, but that was too late. And here's a picture of it in 1927 before the park took all this over and, cleaned it up and made it presentable. And this is what I remember as I was growing up, what it used to look like. Back in the 60s and 70s, this is what it used to look like before they put the modern walkways like this in there. But it's such a peaceful place. So much history passed through this place. This is an old structure that not many people really knows the history on. And it's just a few yards from where the old Daniel Boone Wilderness Road blazed a trail through here. It's just a stone's throw from the trail. Well, this old gap, there's so much history passed here in over 200 years that you could only scratch the surface of it. There's so much history. And it's such a beautiful, peaceful place. Now the park took this place in the late 1940s. They took it over and they keep it up good surrounding this Cumberland Gap. And this is what she looks like from the top of Cumberland Mountain, Cumberland Gap. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of history on the iron furnace. So I want to thank you for watching. God bless. And I'll see you next time.